everybody, and welcome to Seul. Or, I guess, alone. Seul is French for alone. Yep, okay, words, they're difficult. And this is a game about reading. So glad we can read, huh? Alright. I did get this for free from the creator, so that was so super freaking nice. Also, it looks like so much fun. Oh, okay. It's about to begin again. Shh, I know. Well, how far do you think? Not very. Now keep quiet, would you? We're about to begin. How far you think what? Okay. Tumble out. Looking for something? Everything is black, but it feels thick, almost blankety. Complete darkness totally surrounds you. All you can feel is a hard floor beneath your feet. It's smooth and polished, you're sure of that. The darkness can be felt against your skin, like it has a solidity to it in some way. There are no sounds or smells, but you feel if there were, they would have to work slightly harder to move through this velvet veil of blackness. You hear a lady with a soft, silky voice. Looking for something, darling? Wait, where am I? Stay silent and feel your way around. No, I'll ask where we are. Remember. Oh, darling, you're back where you've been before, but never happened to stay too long, and you always seem to have your mind made up and bags packed. Come to think of it, her voice does have this familiar feeling, in a way. Could this be a dream? Is this a dream? A light begins to glow a few feet in front of you. 3 cats sit upon rocking chairs. Oh, I thought they were teddy bears. But they're very cute. I love cats. The female voice begins. Well, of course, darling, is where everything comes in a fully unconnected circle, where 3 is 1. Do you ever listen to a song for that one part? This is that part, where it all folds in on itself. What? You think to yourself? Oh, darl, you should rub your eyes now. Okay, rub eyes. Is that her? Everything comes into focus, almost pushing the darkness away. It's her, the voice. She's slumped in the chair, looking at you, almost as though she's watching you without any interest, like she's seen a familiar face she knows all too well, almost completely knowing you. Okay, scroll. Okay, cool. Emiliana? What's her name? Emiliana is the name, darling. Nice to meet you. She smirks coyishly, as if knowing something you do not. You want to know my name? Pleasure to meet you. May I call you Liana? I feel like I know you. It's so strange. Well, darling, I would imagine so, after all the things you've done to me. She smiles flirtatiously. Done to you? Yes, done to me, over and over again. The games we've played, the pain you've caused me, the pleasure, oh darling, the pleasure. She breathes deeply, slowly pushing her chest out, sinking even more into her chair. She closes... I lost my place. Creepy! She closes her eyes. Her hands move down towards her knees and slither up towards her inner thighs. I think you have me confused with somebody else. Maybe she's crazy. This is too good... Wait. But this is too good to turn out. No, gross. I think you have me confused with somebody else. She opens her eyes and looks you up and down, studying every single inch. Her eyes and face all of a sudden switch from seductress to a stranger. She quickly sits herself up while straightening her clothes and lifting her neckline slightly higher. Oh, I see now. Her voice is sharper and more strange, less breezy and more businesslike. She keeps staring at you, but her eyes stay transfixed on yours, searching, studying, weighing your soul all through your eyes, all through a stare. After a short while, which actually felt a lot longer than it was, she breaks her stare, and the faintest smile emerges just below the stillness, then disappears just as smoothly, like a large lake fish slowly and calmly rising to the surface to gulp down a piece of floating food, then heading back into the cool depths. Yes, I see now, darling. You have a reader with you. Well, I can't help you with much, not in the state you're in. There's no fun to be had now, perhaps next time, maybe. I think you'd best be on your way. Could you stop increasing? I set my water way far away. My room is an ugly mess. Everybody's storing their shit in here right now. Oh, so sorry, it looks gross. It's not my fault. Did I read this all the way through? It was good seeing you. I'll be seeing you next time. Okay. Okay then, move into the darkness. That's scary. Ooh, what is that? Is that a doll in a crib? You walk on for some time, mainly just listening and waving your arms before you in order not to walk face first into anything. But you notice this is starting to gain longer breaks between each arm wave. Like your brain is getting used to the fact that there's nothing in front of you. Weird. Every now and then, a bit of fear pops back into your mind, and there could be a wall or sudden drop in front of you. So you slow, caution slows your movement, then relaxes again after some time. This is exhausting. You think to yourself, then a light pulses dimly just ahead, like being lost at sea and finally noticing the light emerging from a lighthouse after being misplaced at sea for days. The light offers hope, land, salvation. You move towards it, but slowly and cautiously with a serene calm. It could be the exhaustion, or it could be the precaution. It's too hard to tell. But one thing you already know is in this place, sometimes the land can be more treacherous than the sea of blackness. Okay. Walk to the light, stick to the darkness, move away from the light. Hey reader, yeah, you pick this option. Ooh, I want to see what he says if I do this. Everything freezes. Your character, the darkness, even though it's dark, you feel it all become still. So still, in fact, you seem to be here, but also out there, or in there, or more just where you happen to be at this very moment. Text and sounds, noises are all that follows. The sounds carry themselves on, pre-recorded echoing of what was something before, but drifting on, letting go, ejecting you, making you once again aware of yourself and your surroundings. What self do I speak of? The voice inside you, of course. Surroundings? Well, where are you at this very moment? Do me a quick favor. Look up and around. Ooh! I don't like that you set up! That's like the one thing, every time I watch a scary movie, I was like, why does nobody ever fucking look up? Oh, I wish I could see what you're seeing at this very moment. How cool it would be to have that ability, don't you think? But let's get back to that inner voice. I don't like how the words are twisty. You know, this one reading, can you hear it? Have you ever studied it, really? I mean, really listened to your voice? The truest narration of all these happenings, of fiction, but somehow a solid world within your mind, following letters to words to voice, your voice in my words. It is in here where you are truly soul, alone, that I now address, and it's important that you begin to listen to it more often, especially when it begins to wander off by itself. That's where the magic is, you know. Funny, I was soul, and when I wrote this, and I happened to just be listening as it began to wander, so I recorded what it said. But that was before, who knows how long before. But now you have a past me with a present you. What the fuck? Oh, my mom's fucking hanging shit outside my window. I could see like something moving in the reflection of the window on my screen right here. That scared me. Okay. But that was before. Who knows how long before, but now you have a past me with a present you. Don't worry, I'm merely a specter now, words from a phantom. Stop! Increasing, you're scaring me! I wonder what I'm doing right now, the present me, if I'm still around even. Don't you wish you could tap in through the sunlight connection we're having and be able to see what I'm seeing at this very moment? How cool would that ability be to have, don't you think? Oh well, on we go. Let's introduce a voice. You're too loud, game. Sorry. Too loud. Probably still a little too loud. Yeah. Let's introduce a voice. A character, another piece of the story, another fragment to unfold. Forget we, no, you, were ever here, and let's continue. 1, 2, 3. Hi. A whispered voice comes from the jet black surrounding you. You feel uncomfortable, like something slipped. It could have just been the startle. Thinking as you stand, reflexes at the ready, looking every which way, only that one light in the distance glows and hums. Waiting and daring not to move a muscle other than your head darting around with the upper torso following fluidly, like a dancing cobra emerging from a clay pot, defensively trying to cover all angles of potential attack. The light darts across and against the direction of your vision and peripheral as if it is a firefly mixed with the straightened speed of a shooting star. It disappeared as you look behind you, leaving streaked patterns to your vision, peering into a black wall at face-to-face distance. Don't worry, I'm not here to harm. I have no intention of that, nor do I trust you. The voice whispers. The voice sounds male, but weak and polite. I noticed you, and by the looks of things, you're new here. Hard to pin down or locate at all, you stand at the ready. For some reason, you find yourself looking downwards and a few feet ahead, at waist height, as if this voice is coming from someone at a child's tallness. What do you want, then? You whisper back, having no reason to be whispering, but you do anyway. If I can just focus, just notice a movement or silhouette, I could size this thing up, and if it's small like I'm thinking, I'm gonna grab this little fucker. Thinking while peering as hard as possible, studying every patch of black your eyes lock onto. The corner of your vision can still see the twinkle of the light in the distance. I won't be staying long. Have to keep moving round here. Remember that, wanderer? See, I noticed you're new, and you seem decent. It's a risk, but folks need help too, so that's a risk I'm willing to take, if I feel safe, that is. Where the actual fuck is this place? The voice feels less threatening after listening, and you forget about trying to attack it. Still guarded, though, you wait for a response and quickly dart a look over to the light. There's some places out of here, in the other places, even familiar places, a room in your home, even your own bedroom, wherever you are nested, with intimate and recognizable objects that you have decorated. Some with meaning, some with appeal, but nevertheless safe environment protective. Sheltering you from the rest of the world, separating, or God forbid, even your own prison if the circumstances fall in that direction, but solitary and confined beyond those closed doors. What? I don't know if I was just not paying close enough attention, but I didn't understand what he was saying. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, I wish for the life of me I could remember that for myself. Lights on. There are still small areas within the very room that are pretty much all the time absent of light. Nooks, crannies, corners, underneath and behinds, they hold dusty realms of forgotten things and undefinables. Lights off as the familiar objects ever slightly reform and twist just enough that they seem to become a little less known to you. Huh. A coat rack becomes a gaunt figure. A stretched shadow seems to be reaching forward. A picture on the wall holds faces of loved ones, but they seem somehow disfigured or conjoined. A pile of clothes becomes a small man sitting on a chair. This is when those small, ever-dark areas breach and reach out. boundaries begin to fade, spreading outwardly, covering and invading what once was familiar. Oh my god, I'm definitely gonna have nightmares. These things he is describing creep me out. That ever dark in its blackest center is where a soul sits. Stare long enough with patience and curiosity. As sleep begins to overpower you, you will see what I say is true as its door hinges loosen and the locks undo. Soul opens up. So I'm in. The voice cuts you off. I have helped with what I know. There's nothing more. You understand a little further now. I've played my part. We may bump into each other again. Plus, I think you have a light you were planning on heading to. Sometimes you need to unfold all options to find more answers. Best of luck to you. Wait! Nothing as you stand there, somehow feeling the presence of the voice has already moved on, just as quickly as it came. Despondent, with no way to give chase, you turn your attention to the pulsing light and begin to meander towards it. Onwards. Okay. What in the hell? As you move closer, you realize the light wasn't pulsing at all, but swinging back and forth. Slowly coming to a standstill, it now sits above a man with no arms, sitting on an old cane and wood chair. He's staring right into your direction, but it seems as though there's been no notice of you yet. You're still in the darkness, just on the boundary of you. I know you're out there, he yells. Walk into the light. Step further into the dark and move on. Walk into the light. You step into the light. It feels surprisingly warm. For some reason, you smell menthol and mint. The man is breathing steadily. He still hasn't made eye contact with you yet. His head is slightly tilted, as if he's listening intently. You shuffle one of your feet to make a sound. He turns his head towards you. You realize Yes, I'm blind, he states, beating you to the thought, as if he knew the shuffle of a foot was a test by the stranger before him. Armless, in case you didn't notice. A foxy smirk slips across his face as his head juts upwards. He has a gentlemanly voice, young but stern. He seems in a good mood, and you feel relaxed around him for some unknown reason. There are no walls around you, but the paneling of darkness has this way of making you feel as though, when stepped into the light, it's like stepping into another room with divisions and inside and outside. The works, all the rules of physics a room comes with. Odd. You think to yourself as you quickly glance the surroundings. There's the cane chair he's sitting on, and the floor is of polished dark red wood with heavy grains across it. The deep yellow light bouncing off the floor gives the atmosphere of a thick red wine look to it all. It tans the man. He seems calm and cool, almost like a skin-toned brush stroke at the center of a canvas, completely monotoned with its warm red. His pants in the chair are almost the same shade as the floor. He almost looks like a torso with a head floating in space. His pants are dark khaki and he is wearing blackish red boots. He's tall and gaunt. If he stood up, he would lurch over me probably. Walking the darkness, I see. What brings you over to me? I see. What an odd thing to say. The darkness. Yes. Where is this place? I don't like it. It's so creepy. No, it's very quiet, is it not? Whatever, it's fine. Well, it's not dark in here, is it? For me, it's dark everywhere, but at different depths of gloom. It's the nothingness with a lot of something. Someone's and somewheres. I didn't invite you. You must be a drifter or lost, or both. You'd better keep lost drifter for everyone's sake. Never stop, never become still. Being still isn't your part to play in here. It's not the way things work. But then again, rules are meant to be played by, so you question their existence. All I can say is don't leave your world here. There's no need to crash and burn. A part to play, crash and burn. Who are you? Part to play, crash and burn. Yes, it's the reality of things, I suppose. Reality of things? What reality is this? Oh. He pauses for a long while, then smiles, but not with his foxy wry smile. It holds a more understanding expression, an expression knowing that answers are needed. Perhaps realities is a better way to phrase things. Sometimes one reality fades and another reality may blend through, filling the first reality's pores. But other times they don't. Other times they exist with each other, held together by the need to just exist. Rubbing shoulders, hugging one another at the worst of circumstances, battling one another where only one can ever be triumphant. It is at these times a fight for survival turns ugly, where one must eat the other who succumbs. What? I've seen this ugliness. I've been this ugliness. This ugliness is not just a state of mind, it is a necessity here, as a mechanic of the workings, a rule of survival. Love-hate relationships, but relationships nonetheless. All destined to set each other on fire at some point, lusting for each other like colliding galaxies. Then another may be born, making it 3, from Seul to Les Crumbs? And then over there. Or then to over there. Sometimes, though, it's just a vacant lot awaiting construction to begin. A joke said in a room of unhappy individuals, left to linger and dry in the center of the room, then to go on its own way where it pleases, because it realizes within its own existence that it is not welcome there. Some sell themselves to the highest bidder. Some, well, they just fade away, move on, burn themselves out. But perhaps they are the smartest ones. I didn't like that change. You notice his stature change, and an air of seriousness fills the room. Even the light in the room seems to slightly warm and darken, adding a dense gloom as he leans back against his chair. Long and tall, chest and ribs exposed, lay bare. Human existence is lonely, he sighs, and blindly stares at you. It's tasteless and dull, full of negativity. Subordinates sitting below that big fiery ball. Who gets to decide things? Anything. All things. When decisions are made, who gets to enforce it? Should it entail surrendering all freedom? Is that the answer? Place ourselves in the decider's hands, the readers? Pah! Or in the baker's hands, and hope the decider or the baker knows what's best for us? Why trust either of them? Ha! It's blind faith in a whole truth. He shifts slightly, and you feel yourself do the same, like someone yawning across the room, and in turn you suddenly need to stretch your mouth. Just the mention of yawning, and I'm gonna yawn. Okay, almost. Not quite. Okay, here we are. Maybe, thanks to duality, one did not actually come before the other, and one is therefore not stronger than the other. So maybe, just maybe, the decided possibility even existed before the decision was even grappled with to begin with. If duality is the case, then they're all going to end up polarized in one extreme or the other. The cynics will lean towards the negative, the optimists leaning towards the positive. Really neither one of them is more correct than the other. In fact, they are both equally incorrect. All they are really doing is playing favoritism games. If one recognizes the whole for what it is, then it is plain to see that getting caught up in either pole position is really not the best place to be. Really not the place to be. Okay, I added a word. He leans in, and although you know he is blind, you feel an odd sensation that he is staring right at you. Not just at you, but into you. Suddenly, you feel less comfortable, violated in some slight way, naked, almost. So, what of non-duality then? Well, it's foreign and not welcome as a concept to either of the extremists. Why? Because letting go of these attachments would mean a loss of identities. Yes, their precious fucking conceited identities. So, why even stop and ponder then? Why contemplate issues that never were a bother to you? Why build castles in the air? Because this needs to be addressed in order to understand the order of here. The purpose, the answer, the darkness you find yourself in and all that it holds in here. The place we name Seul. All the baker has built, and the outside where the crumbs dwell and lay crumbs. The noise scared me. From those fucking Lumina to Wrigley, the origin place, or over there. So many characters at play, so many answers to find. But I tell you this, Drifter, here, Seul, where this darkness sits, it really is the connector, the key to all of them, the glue. Would you like to hear what the answer is? Yes. The answer is nothing anyway. Fucking nothing. And then he laughs, which I'm not gonna do. There's nothing existing in the first place. Do you see it yet? How negative, how pessimistic you may think. Well, that couldn't be farther from the truth. See, pessimism. Okay, sorry. It was the letters seem really crammed together. Pessimism and optimism, as well as we just elaborated before, attach labels of value, whereas this nothing sees that there are no values attached. Until one chooses to assign the label, it's detached. Truly detached, and within the art of detachment there is no moral code, but more a rule of thumb. Not to engage in any word or deed that would either enable attachment or hinder detachment, both in oneself and in others, but not because it's good, bad, right, wrongful, moral, or immoral, but because it's contrary to the essence of nothing in the first place, eh? His fox smile emerges faintly on the edges of his lips. This darkness that engulfs us refrains from assigning distinctions because it enables attachments, but the attachment comes from you and by your own choice. It does not hold anything within itself. In here, regarding the darkness, you cannot assign a value to no value, but when you do, that in itself becomes a value. However, a value we have chosen to assign from our own point of view, it has no embodiment in the darkness itself. The darkness holds on to nothing. He relaxes back into his chair again, and his gaze moves off into the dark backdrop, filling his lungs with a deep breath. Of course, there are the ones who warp this darkness nature into a perversion for their own benefits. They give the false value that no value allows them to do whatever they wish, whatever they desire at all. But that is one big fucking contrary to what this all is. And if you wander around here long enough, you will find them. The ones who employ the darkness and misuse it for their own purposes. I hope you never come across them. Ooh, spooky! You can't help but feel as though you notice a sense of duplicity in the last sentence. This place is not attached to anything. It is not good. It is not bad. It is not right. It is not wrong. It is not correct, and it is not incorrect. There is no position to take in here, for there is no position. It is not a value to uphold, for there is no value. It is not a reason to have, for there is no reason. It is not a meaning to place, for there is no meaning. It is not a purpose to find, for there is no purpose. He pauses, and a smile fills out his cheeks. The fox smile has become something devilish. And it is not a narrative to follow and unravel through choices of pathways, for there is no narrative. Okay. The softer fox smile returns, and the fiendish look dissipates. It is not non-existence, because non-existence is a concept of some state that only holds significance with conjecture to existence, meaning that non-existence is just another aspect that exists. No, this is nothing. This darkness, what it is, can never be found so long as you are seeking and what are these capitals? And believing there is something to find. There is nothing to be found, nothing and no thing. but it is not a suffering zone. Bliss, perfection, utopia, mist, smoke, fog, void, or even empty space. It is nothing you can point to or allude to. It is not any sort of quality or state of being. All that is something. And there are no somethings here that actually are part of the darkness form. Darkness form? They are merely indwellers. Somethings filling a sort of space. It has no labels because it is beyond labels. Ooh, I really like this. I wasn't sure at first because I was like, ooh, it's going to be a lot of words and hard words and rare. But I really like this. This is really, ooh. This shit doesn't feel like nothing to me. It feels like something. I'm something. I am. Surely if I am, then this is. Or is it not? Is there really just nothing? How absurd. A way station of nothing. You think to yourself as your head hurts and you're filled with a feeling that there is something not quite real about any of this. You and all of anything that is something here is just a visitor, a tourist, a tenant. You should really try to understand what it is you think you're getting yourself into. And to understand this is to reach an understanding that there really isn't anything to understand. Ha! Looking at you. I think you're still not ready for it, because you play this game with choices and pathways that have attachments that you can never get rid of. Your ideas, beliefs, concepts, and convictions make you choose your very path to here. Your values, purpose, meanings, outside narrative, your distinctions of good, bad, wrong, right, evil, good, correct, and incorrect make you play a game that isn't worth playing. But you still cannot tell because you have played it as everyone else, and you have played it sole, alone, with all of us in here, and no individual necessarily has a place in it. His body relaxes, and his head leans back over the chair. His neck stretches as his Adam apple punches out from his throat. It moves up and down like a ping-pong ball pushed by air as he whispers something over and over again. You cannot hear it, but his voice sounds like a wet serpent moving through reeds and shallow gray water. Move close and listen to his... I kind of want to hear, but I don't want him to, like, lean over and bite the fuck out of me. Because that'd be terrifying. Okay, let's move close and listen to his words. Move closer, but it's still a whisper, almost as if he has intentionally lowered his volume. I won't go closer. No, I want to go closer. What happens if we get closer? I don't want to get an end, though, because then I want to stop, because I don't want to play through this whole game, or there's no purpose for you to play it. Let's move in more. You move in close to him, leaning toward him to hear his words. You notice he has a stale sweat smell to him. You listen as the word slowly fights its way through sticky, stringy gargle of secreted phlegm. Exclamation. Fodder. Oops. I scrolled. Scary. He lunges at your throat before you have time. Oh, I knew it! I shouldn't have done it, but I wanted to. Before you have time to react, you feel his teeth bite into you with viciousness and a gripping power of locked jaw. You try to raise your hands, but the strength is already gone. He hangs on to you with monstrous strength as he raises himself from the seat. You are lifted off the ground and dangling from his mouth like a lion with a fresh kill. As your throat tears away from his mouth under your own body weight, you hit the ground like a rag doll, gasping through blood curdles for breath as your body enters shock. You feel the air enter coolly through your open throat with every sharp inhale. Your tongue feels like a piece of floppy raw meat in your mouth. A cold chill rises over your body slowly but steadily, like foam rising in a sink or bath as the water runs. Your blood leaves you. You feel the darkness invading you as your body loses all control and begins to slowly twitch like a deep state of sleep. Every twitch brings your consciousness back and then begins immediately to slip away again. Till there is nothing left, until you are... He looks down at you, eyes glazed over with no real focus. Blood drips from his mouth as he spits the chunkier flesh to the side. I consume you, not for any pleasure of eating you, but for the enjoyment of vomiting you up later. His blood-let smile has turned to true menace as his pearl-white teeth shine through as white marble tombstones. Scary. Some say there is a sort of tranquility in the end, an equilibrium of bliss and eternal rest, like arms of angels come to hold you, casting off all pretenses, allowing you to wholly, finally let go. How fucking optimistic when one is truly soul. The end. That was a lot of fun. Ah, man, I'm sad that it's over. It was so much fun. You know what, maybe I'll play one more go through and we won't even talk to this guy. We'll just walk away from him. Maybe. You guys let me know if you want to see another one. I definitely want to do another one, but you know me, I don't like going through all the routes because then there's no surprise or shock for you if you decide to get the game. Which, by the way, is like $1 on itch.io, maybe $3 on Steam. I don't know. I got a key by the very kind creator. So I hope you enjoyed. I definitely did. Let me know if you want to see more of this or more like it or anything that you want. And I'll see you all next time. Bye.